Freaky Friday is intended for adults and is a show featuring adult conversations. Topics may vary, but are focused on human sexuality, fetish, and topics of intimate nature. Some may feel uncomfortable watching this show, and some topics may take you out of your comfort zone. We encourage everyone to stay and learn, as we hope this is an educational show, but stress that viewer discretion is advised. And if a topic makes you feel uncomfortable, please do not continue watching. Welcome to Freaky Friday.
For June 25th, 2021. Welcome to Freaky Friday, where we dare to talk about taboo topics like fetish, bondage, sex, vibrators, and more. This isn't your dad's Friday night programming, but your mom loves it. Welcome to Freaky Friday, hosted by Mr. erSiN, who is the unboxable, uncanny advocating creator known as the Indie Comics Devil, who will tempt you with his devilish tales of fetish, monsters, and more. Also the giver of free hugs and spanks. Everyone watching this program will get virtual free hugs and spanks. It's time to get on with the show. Welcome to Freaky Friday. Music provided by the YouTube Audio Library. Produced by Silent Partner. Song name, Tied Up. Warning and disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this live feed are those of the guests, speakers, and or hosts, and do not necessarily reflect the beliefs, official policies, ethics, or positions of the content providers, advertisers, additional hosts, and or guests, hosting sites, groups, or entities attached to this programming. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello everyone, welcome to it. We got an interesting week for you. We have something straight out of the Billions show to tell you about. We're going to tell you about what's going on with Comics Unleashed and who's joining them. And we're going to talk about Pandemic and the soaring sales of bondage gear and sex toys. All that's coming up today. Thank you for joining us for this, the last weekend, the last Friday in June. We've gone all month. That's the staying power I have. I've gotten you through the entire month with me. All right, so enough boasting. Here we go. Let's play some background music. Let's set the mood, and let's get into Freaky Friday. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about here's how top pop stars are harnessing a history of fetish fashion. This isn't hugely surprising. Back to the 90s with 9 Inch Nails actually started kind of the revolution of fetish gear in the 90s. This makes sense, and you'd hope it makes a doorway for us to be more accepted. It often doesn't. People will be like, oh wow, that girl looks really good and I want people to look like that. How dare you be into a fetish? But hey, we can hope, right? This was interesting. A woman who tried extreme BDSM techniques in lockdown says she'll never go back. This is brought to us by the dailystar.co.uk. And she said that Amy, by the way, began taking a class in shibari, and she fell in love with it, a Japanese bondage practice. And of course, shibari is awesome, and she got hooked by it. But it also turns out, according to the article, that there's been a gigantic rise in sex toys, especially BDSM related, which, no duh, I get that. There's a lot that can, entice a person with all that amazingness that is the BDSM umbrella. But especially bondage. Bondage can be a lot of fun, and it can be done actually in quarantine. Look at that. So, it's an interesting article. Definitely want to check that out. By the way, we didn't get to mention it before, so we just want to give a quick shout out and acknowledgement. That fashion article came from crfashionbook.com. So you can find all these, by the way, articles at the bottom of the description today, and we're gonna hopefully have you guys click the links, read the articles. This is some fascinating stuff this week, especially the lockdown thing. Well, I kind of knew that, but this is fun. Or funny, at this poor woman's expense. An Ann Arbor woman freed using the jaws of life after being stuck in a stuck fetish video gone wrong. I don't know if she got paid more for it because the fireman had to come cut her out. I mean, it's definitely an embarrassing moment when you have to be pulled out of a chair. I tried to look for the video for it, but there is none. It's been taken out. So the fire department, not kidding you, actually got called to help her get unstuck. So Oh, imagine that phone call. Help! I'm stuck in a chair. So this was kind of a funny moment. I mean, we could all laugh about it now. At least I can. I don't know if she's laughing about it, but I'm having a good time at her expense. It's a TikTok moment gone wrong. And hey, look, she got out okay. The chair was harmed during the filming of that video, but sometimes you got to do a lot for the stuck fetishes. So she really committed to the role. I didn't even know there was a stuck fetish. I get it's the peril aspect, but why would you get stuck in a chair? How is being stuck in a chair appealing? I don't know. That I don't get this one. As far as fetishes go, and I'm not kink shaming. Everyone can have their own thing. But before you get stuck in a chair, just ask yourself, do I want the fire department called to help me get out of this chair? And don't risk yourself. Always be safe and sane and consensual. SSC. Safe, sane, consensual. And this was not safe. And I'm not too sure it was too sane, but to each their own. So this one's big. This has a lot to do with me. Comics Unleashed will be an imprint coming to you from Continuum Comics. And it is going to be taking on Barbara Unleashed as its main title to begin. We are already trying to discuss who else will be joining us. It'll definitely be an imprint that misbehaves and pushes boundaries. Barbara Unleashed, of course, is a story of a young New York City transplant. She's from a different part of the country, and she comes to New York City to explore her dark desires in the underground fetish community in New York City. And it does have real life places and environments, and it's educational. It comes with a BDSM survey. It talks about abuse. The entire second chapter, Aftermath, actually talks about this young woman named Barbara being taken advantage of in her first experience at a dungeon, really when she probably shouldn't have been there yet, and hadn't really, despite thinking she knew what she was doing, she definitely gets in over her head very quickly. Amazing artists were part of this. We had just great energy going into the art that went into it. You really felt for Barbara, and in Mentor Search, you could feel her anxiety of trying to find someone to help her actually regain her fetishes by that time that she felt has been stolen from her. And with the BDSM survey, it's literally something you could sit down with someone that you're just getting into a relationship with, and you know you have a fetish and you want them to be present and aware of who you are. This is a great opportunity. The entire series I am very proud of, and I'm very proud for it to become the flagship for Comics Unleashed. I, by the way, will be running Comics Unleashed. This is brand new, never been announced. I will be the editor-in-chief in Comics Unleashed. Of course, I'll still be going to my partners, and they will have some say in what goes into it. But for the most part, it'll be ran by me, and they'll just pretty much look over and make sure that they feel comfortable with what we're allowing. We're definitely going to try to push the envelope. It's not going to be for everyone, but if you're watching this show, it's definitely going to be something for us. We're definitely going to look for fetish comics. So if you're a fetish comic creator, please reach out to me. Find me, Mr. Anderson. I'm pretty easy to find, but just in case, chainlinks.site, track me down. Let me know what you're creating, and maybe we'll get you into Comics Unleashed. We definitely want to see what we can come up with in the next couple of years and really build this up as a brand that invites fetish comics. So, or even maybe some more adult relationship comics. Who knows? Show me what you got. I'll tell you what we can do for you. You can find out more at comicsunleashed.com and find out about Barbara at barbaraunleashed.com as well. Finally this evening, I want to talk about Zach Weiner. He explains why his own campaign flagged his leaked BDSM video. We got a bunch of these stories. One's coming from New York Post. The other one is coming from... We'll go one by one. The New York Post actually talks about this, and there was a quote in here that I wanted to read to you guys. And he says that he is a proud... Oh, no, I'm sorry. The link for this particular one, he said, I don't feel like that ultimately this is a wrong thing that I did. That's why I feel comfortable, he added. And this was part of the New York Post article. He really kind of stood up. And I've thought about running for office myself and always wondered what would happen. Because once I chose to make a fetish comic book, it was always going to be a conversation. To this date, it's held over my head. And I take that burden on and I fight what they think, and honestly what is a not just a stereotype, but some bad information that they're basing on me and trying to make me out to be something I'm not based upon things they don't clearly understand. So I'm really proud of this guy. It's a story out of billions, though, in my estimation. Here it is. He told the Post that he is a proud BDSMer, and this is from Business Insider, and described the release of the video as a violation of trust. And it is, because this was something he did consensually. Someone videotaped him, and he's in the middle of a campaign, and he's running for a councilman in New York City, in Manhattan, and I really hope he wins, because we need more guys like that who stand up. And it's not just that he stand up for the fetish community, which of course I love, obviously, but it's the fact that he also stood up to what is just bullies. Someone did this to hurt him, and I didn't like it. And the Billions reference, by the way, if you ever watched a show called Billions, they had this amazing moment where one of the top characters in there is into BDSM, and they're going to be outed, and they're told they should leave politics, so they're going to be outed. So he decides instead, I'm going to just tell the world who I am, and he does. The only problem is it outs his wife at the same time. Very complicated, wasn't really cut and dry. I really enjoyed what they did with that. This is like real life playing out, and this I thought was cool. OnlyFans and Twitter's banned users for leaking the politician's BDSM video. That's the right thing to do in a situation like this. Well, hopefully we're getting past the point where we can be outed that way and be afraid of losing our jobs or losing custody. But until that happens, we're going to have to band together and fight the prejudices that are against us for having fetishes. That's it for this week. We'll see you in July. Have a happy Freaky Friday. We'll see you next week.
Let me, Indy. Mr. Anderson is the unboxable advocating creator known as the Indie Comics Devil, who will tempt you with his devilish tales of fetish, monsters, and more. He is the giver of free hugs and spanks, and he is a partner in Continual Comics. Check out everything erSiN at chainlinks.site.